Okay, Hamotom Erev Tov, everybody good evening. Today the Askara of my father, Meir Mazal, all Dibri Torah, the Lishul, and also, of course, Aslachat Kol Am Israel and Tzva Hagana L'Eretz Israel. I finished the masehet Baba Kama. I'm going to make a Seum B'ezrat Hashem right now. And I decided, before I'm going to make this Seum, I want to bring a specific paragraph of the sages, Chachamim, Zuchron Levracha, from the Masehet Shabbat. From Chog L'Israel, basically I'm learning that the Chog L'Israel, there's two way of learning. One is learning, you're just reading, like you're supposed to, you want to be the Chovah, you say the Mikra, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, Mishnah, Gemara, Zohar, Halacha, Musar, and also you're reading the Pirushim, you want to be Ma'ayen, you want to see exactly what the sage is saying over there, what Chachamim mean about this. And I find something beautiful from last week, from last parasha, and I want to share with you together. What's interesting, when I'm giving shiur, when I explain sometime, what's interesting is about whatever I say, it's like even not next week or next year, but in the end, it could take a couple of years in the end coming out. Not only my word, but the word of the Chazal by saying, each time you are reading, you read, you learn, you study, you're going to find something new. Imagine yourself, you could learn specific daf, specific Torah for many years. And you never understood exactly what it means. Suddenly, after so many years, you say, how come I didn't say that? That's the beauty of the Torah. That's the reason sages said, which means you're always going to learn constantly, always going to find something new. That's the beauty of the Torah, always. I bring you something very interesting. I will start with this, and then I'm going to finish the Masehet Baba Kama. It's like this. The students of Rabbi Eliezer came to the rabbi, and they asked him like this: teach us a way of life. Teach us what direction of the life. And he said like this: אמר רבי אלעזר, אומר, שוב יום אחד לפני מיתתך. He told them, make a tshuva before you die. That's what he said. Rabbi Eliezer said, make a tshuva before you die. שאלו תלמידיו את רבי אליעזר, וכי אדם יודע איזה יום הוא ימות? How am I going to know when I'm going to pass away? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Anyone know when you're going to pass away? Nobody knows that. So we thought,
We check our shower every year.
What you say? If you want to say something seriously, please. So he said, אמר לו, וכל שכן ישוב היום, שמא ימות מחר. You know what? He said, Rabbi Eliezer, Ariel, make a tshuva today. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow you're going to die, chas v'shalom. So make a tshuva today. That said Rabbi Eliezer to his student. Начинай каяться сегодняшний день, не жди через пару дней, через неделю, месяц. וכל שכן ישוב היום שמא ימות למחר, נמצא כל ימיו בתשובה. What's happening? It's happening that all your life in the tshuva. You imagine yourself? It's not the tshuva only Yom Kippur when you're going to the shul. Every day you make a tshuva. Каждый день ты каешься, каждый день ты делаешь tshuva как будто бы. Every day, all your life is going to be tshuva. And it's a good thing. It's very important thing even. And it's very big, deep concept also, which is going to come to right now. ואף שלמה אמר בחוכמתו, even שלמה המלך said in his wisdom. What he said in wisdom? שלמה המלך, what he said? בכל עת יהיו בגדיך לבנים. I wanna your clothes every day should be white clothes. It's a meaning. It's not just simple and explaining, and not simple words. Every day your clothes should be white. What do you mean about that? We're going to talk about it right now. V'shemen al roshcha al ichsar. And the oil should be not stopped from your head. You hear that? And the oil should not stop from your head. Oil, by the way, it's a connection to the Ora Chokhmah, which I talk about a lot. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Now, coming Rabbi Yochanan and giving explanation for the Rabbi Eliezer, where he said that make a tshuva before you die. What do you mean about that? And he bringing a mashal, bringing an example. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is a very big man, by the way. Mashal lemelech. Now you're going to see the connection. It's such a deep connection. You might say how it's connected to that, but I'm going to give you an explanation for that. Very beautiful explanation. אמר Mazal, למה הדבר דומה? משל למלך שזימן את עבדיו לסעודה. It's a king. He invited all his servants to the breakfast. All his servants he invited to the breakfast. ולא קבע להם זמן, and he didn't tell them when. He didn't tell them when. He said, prepare all of you. I'm going to invite you to the breakfast with me together, with the king. Look over, guys. It's very deep. פיקחי שבהם, the smart one, קישטו את עצמם וישבו על פתח בית המלך. ואמרו, כלום חסר לבית המלך? The smart one, they didn't move from the place. They were standing next to the door of the king. They didn't move. They said, there's anything missing in the king of the house? I mean, you're going to the king of the house. Do you think something is missing? Come on, it's a king. He doesn't miss anything. Anything you want, you have over there. So we're going to sit and wait because king didn't give a time. And I don't know when. You're going to tell me suddenly come inside. I want to be prepared. I want to be clean. I want to be prepared. I'm going to stand next to the door of the king, of the gate of the king, and I'm going to move. It's the smart ones. Tipshim shebahem, the not smart one, you could say 1 point, stupid even, not the smart one, shebahem alchu lemlachtam, they go work. They said like this, Amru, klum yesh suda belo torach. They said, it's possible to have a breakfast without working? I mean, even those kings said, but I have to still go work. I have to do some stuff. I have to take care of things. Maybe he will tell me I have to pay for it or do this for that. I mean, it cannot be a table. It cannot be a breakfast for free. The Torah mentioning not the smart one. Imagine yourself. פתאום, ביקש המלך את עבדיו. Suddenly, king said, everybody come inside. פתאום, it's like from nowhere.
Surprise.
They surprise. פיקחי שבהן נכנסו לפניו כשהן מקושטים. The smart one go inside the palace, all of them with the clean clothes, all of them prepared. They was waiting for that. They said, we're going to sit, not going to move. I don't care when and what. They are beautiful, everything clothes clean. והטיפשים שבהן נכנסו לפניו כשהן מלוכלכים. The not smart one go inside with the dirty clothes. Why? Because when they heard king tell them come, they're doing some job, they're doing some stuff, they're doing some things. I mean, the clothes get dirty. I mean, you're not sitting with the. Be careful. You actioning yourself with the physicality of this world. Samach HaMelech likrat pikhin. The king was very happy from those who saw them. They are the smart ones with the clean clothes. V'ka'as likrat tipshin, and he get upset from those who was not smart one, which all the clothes was dirty. Amar, This everything saying Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Amar, halalu, shikishtu et atzman. Those who was clean and neat and take care of themselves. Yishvu yichulu v'yishtu. Those, prepare them nice table, give them vodka, cognac, whiskey, give them the best food, and let them eat food. Those who didn't take care of themselves, they go work, they do shtuyot, they said, why should I wait? I mean, cannot be for free. They're gonna sit and watch. They're gonna sit and watch. The smart one eating food and enjoy, but not smart one sitting and watching them how they eat, but they're not enjoying themselves. It's everything an example of what's going on over here. Rabbi Meir Omer, Avhen yirin ki shemshamshin ela elu ve'elu yushin halalu ochrin halalu re'ivin halalu hishotin halalu tzmein. Rabbi Meir even saying even worse than that. He's saying somehow the not smart one also somehow doing kind of job. I mean, there was also the king called them. It's just they're gonna sit at the table. They're gonna show those smart ones they're eating food and enjoy, and the not smart one they're gonna be starved and thirsty. Okay, what all this whole point? It's everything talks about. I never knew that. So many years I'm telling you, I never was going inside this. All this talk about who? But what? It talks about Olam Haba. Olam Haba. When I say Olam Haba, I want to make clear those who not in so much into Olam Haba. Ephraim John. Olam Haba, по-бухарски говорят дуня. Olam Haba это не дуня. Это неправильно. It's a wrong understanding. I want to get people get used to and get clear that prospect to understand in a right way. Olam Haba по-еврейски, the Hebrew one, the Israeli one, is Chet HaMitim, resurrection of dead people. Resurrection of dead people. Безат Ашем, бади много лет, он агар дозор шеве, а настанет, а он джуйки он это гор карди. Это еврейский вера. I know it's a little bit like wow, but there is a learning to study. So whatever talk about over here, all this whatever I said right now, talk about Chet HaMitim. So trying to say, all the point is, King said, I'm going to call you for my soda, for my breakfast. Be ready. You in this world, what we worry most the situation our time? Our busy 24/7 with our job and think about only materialistic world? Or we really learning and studying and saying, listen, I have my food, like the Torah said. Somebody have a food for today. You don't have for tomorrow, only for today. And he's saying what they're going to have tomorrow is called Ktan Amana. Chas v'shalom. Ktan Amana is a small believer. Could you imagine yourself? That, whatever you ask right now, that called in Hebrew, I was in English. I was in Hebrew and translate. Olam HaNeshamot. Dunyoyi Neshamaha. It's a specific word only for the souls. They are right up there after the passing away. Chet HaMitim is going to be in this world, not over there. Over here, right where you're sitting over here in this earth. Over here going to be. So there's a different Olam HaNeshamot between the Olam Haba. I know why I say that. The reason is because many people when you say Olam Haba, Olam Haba, Olam Haba, they think, after pass away, are you going obsessed, and that's what they think. And nobody talks about the Olam Chet HaMitim. Nobody. How many people already talk about that? How many people speak about that? How many people are giving an explanation for that? No, not many. Very little. Not everybody talks about that. So that's the whole point I want to make. That whatever over here in this explanation, they talk about not Olam Haba, that in the Gan Eden enjoying. Over here, Gan Eden, where was in the beginning? Right here. Right here. And then he go up. So we're bringing back this Gan Eden over here. That's the entire secret creation of this world for Gan Eden. We have to work for it. So that's the reason, guys, that I bring this Mazal, and I'm going to do Seum masehet Baba Kama I know also Rabbi Shalom and all other maybe Asha want to speak, but I want to say like this. Listen to me very carefully. This is Baba Kama. You know, it's very important to know that people living in this world, we're so much far from reality. You're not gonna believe it. But Be'emed, I'm saying that for real. Why? Why I'm saying that? You know, you live in this world, yeah. You live in this world. You live in this world. You're making a business. How are you making money? You make a business, no? You go, or you work for somebody. Well, at one point, to work for somebody, really? Work for somebody when you have a good salary, and 1 point is the best one. And 1 point, not all the point, but 1 point is the best one. Why? Because you're working for your boss. You're doing your 8 hours, your 10 hours. You have your salary. You come home. That's it. You didn't steal. You give your time. You work. But when you're in a business, you have to know what you're doing it. There is so many laws, and this Baba Kama talks about so many laws. What is stealing? What is the meaning of stealing? Somebody steal from your stuff. Now you want to bring this back. How we have to bring this back? And what circumstance they have to bring you back? When you have, sometimes you have to pay you double because it's steal from you. Sometimes not. They have to be witness for that. And then you want to make a tshuva. What are you supposed to do? I'm gonna finish over here with the last paragraph. Talks about, I don't want to bring everything, but it says like this. The last paragraph. Abraham. It says like this. I'm going to give you an example in our situation, but also here. Somebody doing contract, for example. We have an in-house contract. He's doing contract, he's building his house, for example, and he's trying to make an extension and building on the stuff, and you have all the bricks, stuff, things, yeah? Let's say you already finished your job. 99% you finish your job. You finish everything. So there's some stones over there. The stones. And you have a neighbor. You have a neighbor front of you, back of you, and the sides. Now I need some stuff from there. I need those stones. Whatever left over of your house after construction, you finish the job. If those stones, you need them, and you really want them, because it's yours. If I come to take it, it's considered stealing. But if you don't need them, you want to get rid of them. You really don't need them. You want to get rid of them? If I taking, it's not considered stealing. So bring kind of example. He really bringing about the trees. Let's say there's a specific trees have a thorn over there. A thorn.
But you have to ask, right? You have to ask before you take. You have to ask the owner.
Yeah, of course.
Take those stones.
Yeah, of course.
You just come to take it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but sometimes you have to. Yeah, you have to ask basically. Basically, you have to ask to make sure if you agree with that or not. Let's say the neighbor. Let's say you know your neighbor. For example, let's say you know your neighbor. You know him very good, and you have a tree, and that tree growing kind of thorn, колючки. Okay. Let's say I need that. I need the thorns. So I want to come. Take some kind of machine, whatever I'm cutting, and I want to take all those thorns to myself. I need for my specific reasons. If you know that your neighbor he need them, it's considered stealing. If you know that he always try to get rid of them, he don't need them, he don't want them, so it's not considered stealing. So basically, this kind of example is bringing you many kinds of examples also inside there. Not only that, somebody let's say I did steal. You know what? You had a house, and I steal your tree in your house. I steal your tree, kind of wood in your house. And from that wood, I make kind of vessel for myself. Now I want to make tshuva. I regret what I did. I want to make tshuva. I want to come to you, I have to tell you, listen, I stole from you those wood, and I made a vessel from that, and I need them. I want to pay you back. And you're gonna tell me, for example, how much the tree was cost when it was in your position. I have to pay for that, and you talk about the tree, yeah, but it's also connected to the diamond, to the gold, everything. We learn from here all the halachot. I'm trying to say over here, people sometimes, which I know, They have so much money. It's a big question. Big question mark. Which kind of money is this? And it's important to know that when you live in this world, you have to know what's right, what's wrong. How I have to deal. How I have to. You see, this is bread. This is bread over here. If this is stolen, even not 100%, 20%, 30%, yeah, it's a question mark. If I could tell on that, I remember I was somebody's house. I don't want to mention his name, and I know he's very good, beautiful stealer, and he made it kind of Shalom brachot, whatever. So he made over there and bring food, $5,000 for him. It's 2 minutes. Bring it. The guest to eat. I didn't eat. It was upset from me. I said, I'm not sure which kind of money he bought that. Yeah, he bought. Yeah, make a nice table. Go to store and pay it and bring the food. I know he's making money. So it's a question mark. So, but the question is, listen, look the beauty of the Quran. For example, I heard, and that situation, he made a tshuva. The guy made a tshuva. He said, yeah, I was stealer, I steal. I regret. I want to make a tshuva. I want to fix my problem right now. They discuss over here. Can I buy from him? They say it's merchandise or it is food or not. Some said you could, some said you not. So it's a big discussion. Well, I'm trying to make a shortcut over here. I didn't take a long time, but to explain to you as one example, look at the power of Torah. If you don't know what's right, what's wrong, how you could live in this world and not to know what to do it right away? It's not only this. We have thousands, if not more than that, halachot, how to act in this world. When you do that, then you consider like those children or those slaves, which King told you, be ready. One day I'm gonna call you to my breakfast, which consider Olam Haba. And it's really meaning to us and to our future in the Nevi'im in private written. Whatever I said should be Lishmat Avi, and I wanna finish with this by saying the Tefillah.
Глубокий вопрос, до этого левела же надо дойти.
А?
До этого левела, то, что надо дойти до этого. Здесь же Америка все стилы же. Любой дом пойдешь, там не покушаешь потом.
No, but you have a point. But when you're deciding, but listen, when you're deciding, I want to really go in the right direction. Believe me, Hashem gonna find a way. Not specifically 100%, but He will give you. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.
We're in a special Monday night shiur.
Very special.
Very special, yes. In the memory of for the zechut of my grandfather, Meir ben Mazal. Baruch Hashem tenicheu began Eden. Amen. Hamakom yirachem alav. It says, Ateret zekenim b'nei banim. The King Solomon, when he passed away, he had 3 books that he had. 3. He had 3,000 mashalim. 3,000. But whatever is left from all of his writings is only 3 books. Shir HaShirim, Mishlei, Proverbs, and Kohelet. And Mishlei is his biggest book, by the way.
Yeah.
The older people and the older generations used to read Mishlei as the only Musar book that exists. Like before Misilat Yesharim, before The Way of the Just, and all these Farim, there was Mishlei. And they used to know the book of Mishlei by heart. And in the book of Mishlei, it says over there, Ateret zekenim b'nei banim. What is the crown of older men, of grandfathers? Grandchildren. Why does it say that? The Gemara says, V'achut ha'mishulash lo b'meira yenatek. How do you know that your descendants from now on will be tzaddikim? The Gemara says you could find that out in your time, in your lifetime, if you work hard. How? The Gemara says if you're a Talmid Chacham and a tzaddik, and your child is a tzaddik and a Talmid Chacham, and his child is a tzaddik and a Talmid Chacham, you could be sure that for the rest of the generations, at one point, it's always going to continue. Even if they go off here and there, at one point, the DNA, the spiritual DNA inside your physical DNA is going to be so strong, it's going to be like a triple tied knot. That it won't be able. Once it's 3, now how do you do that? If you learn with your child, and you make sure to also learn with your grandchild. That means don't give the responsibility on your child, right? That means you learn, all three of you. You will know for a fact that from now on your descendants will be, at one point they'll find their way. Don't worry about it. The Gemara brings a story of Yosef. I hope I'm quoting the story correctly. It's not in Baba Kama, it's in Baba Batra. If I'm not mistaken. He writes over there that Rav Yosef, he fasted 100 fasts. So they told him in Shammai, Rav Yosef was one of the greatest Amoraim, Gemara rabbis. He was blind. Why was he blind? When he was alive, his Rebbe's Rebbe was Rav. Rav is, they just called him Rav, the Rav. And he had a minhag, Rav. Then whenever he used to walk outside, he only used to look down. He wouldn't look at any human being in the world. Ever. He wouldn't look. He was also very tall. He wouldn't look at anybody. That's what his minhag was. Why? The Gemara says, if you look at a person whose face is angry, it's like you looked at Avodah Zarah. Like this. It's not good to look at a person's face who's angry and continuing. Obviously, it's another level. We're not talking about a regular Joe Schmo over here. We're talking about Rav. But he didn't want to see it. He's waiting for the meal. He's waiting for the meal. So they say when Rav passed away, he's not going to come back again. Trust me. Maybe we're going to come back again. When Rav passed away, all of his students took a minhag of his. A minhag. Something chassidut that he did. Rav Yosef and Rav Sheshath both took the minhag not to look at anybody. We'll try it, they said. They couldn't. So they prayed to Hashem that we rather not go over the minhag and we should lose our eyesight. And that's what happened to them. Rav Yosef and Rav Sheshath both lost their eyesight. They asked for it. They didn't want it. Just not to go over the minhag of their Rebbe. It's a very high level. It's not something that we... Rav Sheshath, anybody knows in the Gemara, Rav Sheshath, when he used to finish learning Torah, he used to stand by the doorway and he used to say, Chadai nafshi. My soul is happy, my soul is happy. For you I learned, for you I did, for you I sat, for you I suffered. We know Rav Sheshath, he never had any boys. Why? Boys. I'm going to tell you a story right now. You're not gonna truly comprehend the story, but just look at the greatness of our Chachamim. Rav Sheshath's Rebbe was Rav Huna. Anybody knows Rav Huna? Rav Huna was such a great Talmid Chacham. When they put him on the coffin, they said we're going to put a Sefer Torah next to him. To this extent. So Rav Chasda, who was his student and his friend, said, Rav Huna never agreed to this halacha to begin with. You can't do a halacha against him. So even though he's worthy of it, don't do it. The Gemara says about Rav Huna, it's a question which Rav Huna this is, that Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi was afraid of him. Of Rav Huna's greatness. Until today, Rav Huna is buried in the crypt of Rabbi Chia, who was the Gilgul of Avraham Avinu, and his two sons, Chizkiah and Yehuda, which was Yitzchak and Yaakov. So he was a very great man. Rav Sheshat was his student. They say he was so thirsty for his Rebbe's Torah, when he used to teach him Torah, even if he had to use the bathroom, he used to hold himself inside, and he didn't even feel he had to use the bathroom. The Gemara says this, and he used to hold it in, and from that, chas v'shalom, it ruptured his urethra, and he couldn't have children anymore.
Who?
Of Sheshat. He only had girls. After that, he couldn't have children. There were 60 students of Rav Huna. You're not allowed to do such a thing. Why? If a person holds inside their thing, he's going over an avera. What's it called? What's the avera called? Anyone here know? Bal teshaketzu. You're not allowed to hold in. If you need to go, you must go right now. But he was not in his right. He was like on a drug. He couldn't hold himself. When Rav Huna was teaching him Torah, he didn't even realize he had to go. That was Rav Sheshat and Rav Yosef. So it says Rav Yosef, Rav Sheshat, they both took upon themselves the mitzvah of Rav, and they couldn't hold it. It's very hard. How do you always walk outside and not look to your four corners? And they took upon themselves this, unfortunately, this blindness. But don't think they were small Talmidei Chachamim. The Gemara brings a halacha in masehet brachot that if a person's sitting down in the shul and the Torah comes out, even if you're learning Gemara Mishnah, you have to stop. and you have to, of course, you have to get up when the Torah is moving, but you have to listen to the Torah reading. The Gemara says, what happened? One time, Rav Sheshat, he turned around while the Torah was being read, and he continued learning. So they asked him, Rav Sheshat, what are you doing? You have to listen to the Torah reading. He said, they're learning their Torah, and I'm reading my Torah. So the Tosfot asked, that's not an answer. The halacha is you have to stop what you're doing and you have to listen to the Torah.
Even while you
so that even while you're praying, you have to stop. Of course. What do you mean? When a person's even when he's dying, so he's dying.
Ask what?
He's saying stop. So the Gemara says that why? So the Tosfot writes over there. Well, how come Rav Sheshat was able to stop and learn his own Torah while they were reading the Torah? He's learning Mishnah and Gemara. They're reading the actual Torah shebichtav. Tosfot writes a big chidush. Rav Sheshat Torato umanuto. Rav Sheshat, his Torah was his essence. So he was a living Sefer Torah. So it didn't matter where he was or what he was doing. At the moment that he was learning Torah, it was like he was in his own realm. So he didn't even have to stop and listen to the reading of the Torah. Now I want to go back to Rav Yosef, because I just brought Rav Sheshat because of Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef, he fasted 100 fasts that his children should never go off the derech, says the Gemara. 100 fasts he fasted. And from the Shamayim they told him Ba'achut HaMishulash Lo B'Mayyin. Then he fasted. That's only one generation. Then they fasted another 100 fasts straight. Well, he ate at night, obviously, not straight. No, we're not talking about that. That's impossible. I mean, who knows? But then he fasted another 100 fasts, and they told him Lo B'Mhera Yinatek Yanu from his descendants, Torah, so could be sitting in this room today, there are descendants of Rav Yosef from the Gemara. You never know if you're one of those descendants. Okay? But we see over here that the power of teaching Torah to your descendants and to your descendants' descendants, that means to your grandchildren. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi writes, in the Gemara, teaching Torah to your grandchildren is like giving Torah at Har Sinai. It's like giving Torah at Har Sinai. So it's my zechut, personally speaking, especially he was my sandak, to say Torah at his Yortzait, and to, even though he was not a Talmid Chacham, far from it, but to sit over here and to continue this pathway of Torah, it's my zechut to be mekayim the pasuk of Shlomo HaMelech, Ateret Zikenim B'nei Banim. And I want to tell you something, that almost all of his grandchildren almost all of them, people are in Torah and Mitzvot Masim Tovim. Almost none of them, his kids, almost none of them were in Torah and Mitzvot Masim Tovim. So you need a big zechut for that. It's not something simple. So you're at something that this zechut should be for his neshama. I want to say one chidush and I'm going to call it a night. Here's the chidush. So on Shabbat we said a chidush in Megillat Esther. It said over there that Esther, when she that day, right? The whole story took place in 2 weeks, right? Rosh Chodesh Nisan happened. He made the pur a couple of days before Pesach, and then he told Achashverosh, Yeshno am echad mefuzar meforad, Yeshno Yashen hu Eloka shalem. Their God is sleeping, which you have to understand what that means. How could that Medrash even say such a thing? Their God is sleeping. It's such a sentence that any Yoshka guy could take that sentence and turn it into, God forbid, a religion, literally. Like, it's a bad sentence to write. But we know from the Torah, for example, the Torah says that Hashem said, write whatever you need to write. Whoever will want to make a mistake will fall, and whoever will want to learn, he will learn. So the Medrash says that Esther, so Haman said their God is sleeping, which you have to understand what that means. It's not what you think it means. And it's time to kill him, to destroy him. Says the Ari HaKadosh, what was the whole point of all of this? What was Haman's main goal, guys? Anybody here knows? To kill Mordecai? Well, what? Kill Mordecai. Assimilation. No, you guys are missing the whole point. He had one point. He wanted to stop something completely. Mashiach. What is Mashiach coming to do? Geula. We had many Mashiach.
He's a Malek.
What does he want to stop?
Stop
Binyan Bet Hamikdash. That's what he wants to stop. Haman's whole goal, you have to remember, the Ari HaKadosh says this, he wants to kill Mordechai and kill Esther. He wants to kill only for one reason. He doesn't want a Beit HaMikdash. Right. He wants, that means we could have Israel, we could have Yerushalayim, but till that dome of the rock is not gone, that shikutz is not gone from there, we're still in Galut. We're still in Galut. It doesn't make a difference what you do. We still sit every midnight, including tonight, and we're going to cry over the Chorban bit. And on Tisha B'Av, we're going to continue counting at the Chorban bit. Why? We're in Eretz Yisrael. Until that shikutz is not gone from Harabait, there is no point to anything. Okay? So Jews were living in Israel during Haman's time. Let's not forget, Koresh, Cyrus, the father of Achashverosh, he brought the Jews back. So we had Geula, right? Zerubbabel, Yoshua Kohen Gadol. They got up, they started doing korbanot, right? Okay, they stopped the actual building, but there was a mizbeach, right? They were doing korbanot. How come Haman didn't care about korbanot? He didn't care about it. He didn't want the Beis HaMikdash to be rebuilt. Because he knew once the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt,
It's his end.
that's his end. That's the Nachash's end. So what does he do? He does everything he has in his power to stop. What do he say? If there are no Jews, and there is no Beis HaMikdash, so I need to create a plan to destroy Klal Yisrael. And all the Jews are living where? In 127 provinces of Achashverosh. So he comes over here, Haman, and he tells to Achashverosh. Achashverosh also is interested in that. Why? Because he's the ruler. If he loses the Beis HaMikdash, then he loses everything, right? If he doesn't have that, that means that everything goes back to Klal Yisrael. Then what is he left with, right? That means the only way he has power is if he rules over the holiness. If he doesn't have it, then he lost everything, right? So the Gemara says actually the first thing Achashverosh did when he got into power was he stopped the Binyan Beit HaMikdash. That was the first thing he did. It's not written inside the Megillah, but if you read the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, you will know that. You never read the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, unfortunately. And the first thing Achashverosh did when he became king, he stopped the Binyan Beit HaMikdash. That was the first thing he did. And then he counts 70 years.
How do you know about this?
He knows about that because Isaiah writes a prophecy calling Cyrus, his father, Mashiach.
Whose father?
Achashverosh's. He calls Achashverosh's father Mashiach. Why? Koresh is the first person to say the Jews could go back and build a Beis HaMikdash. Now Achashverosh doesn't want that. He wants it to stop because he wants to be the continuous ruler. So he stops everything. And who's his advisor the whole time? Haman. Haman is the one feeding him all of this. Now Achashverosh, the Gemara says, was an extremely cruel human being. He didn't care. You might think of him like a Stalin. I said to my kids today in class, did you guys know that there were many Purims? There wasn't just one Purim. I'll tell you a story. There was one Purim in a place called, place in Spain. It's Saragossa. It's called a Purim of Saragossa. Place in Spain. They had a minhag over there. Every time the king would visit of Saragossa, all the Jews would take out the Sefer Torah from the Echal and walk with the king. Like kavod. What the king didn't know, that all the Sefer Torahs were empty. No, pasul. You think you know pasul kasher? All the Sefer Torahs were empty. They were empty. Why? I'm not going to take out the Sefer Torah for some
Amaretz.
for some amaretz, for some arel, right? One time there was a Jew over there that had a little bone to pick with the Chachamim. A rat. Right. So he decided to squeal to the king. Yeah, John Ganozi. Holocaust with John Ganozi. He's going to make a Holocaust. So he told the king, watch, you're going to see. They're not going to take out open up the Sefer Torah, you're going to see they're all empty. They're all empty. The king said, what? If this is true, not expulsion, genocide. Such disrespect to make fun out of me, and they're all laughing to themselves. It's called Purim de Saragossa. That Purim, that year, the king comes and says, I'm going to come join your Purim festivals. The Jews said, Ahalan v'sahalan. We're going to have a balloon guy. We're going to have a clown. Everyone's going to be in costumes. Yalla. He comes. He said, guys, stop. The whole procession. It's a true story. He said, open up your Sefer Torah. And the Rabbanim were shaking in their boots. They said, if this Sefer Torah is going to be open right now, Shalom al Israel. They open up, suddenly in every Sefer Torah, true story, the Sefer Torah is inside. What happened? Every Gabbai the night before had a dream. Put the Sefer Torah back into the thing. One Gabbai woke up, he went back to sleep. Again it came to him. And suddenly he calls his friend from the other shul. He said, Did you hear such a... I got the same thing. And he sees the lights opening up in all the shuls. Middle of the night, something's going on. One Gabbai said, he goes check, they all had the same dream. He said, listen, has to be something to this. Let's see what happens. They all put the Sifrei Torah back in the Sefer Torah. The Rabbanim didn't know. And when the king opened up the Sifrei Torah, miracle, all the Sifrei Torahs were there. The king took this rat and he hung him like Haman. And they called this Purim de Sargosa. The Purim of Sargosa. There's many stories. There was
they should hang the Hamas like that.
There was a story like that also in where was the Maharalmi Prague? Prague. Yeah. So he says there's a couple of stories of Purim like this, right? Purim is Adar is a month of miracles. So what am I trying to say? What I said on Shabbat, a beautiful chidush. I said Haman comes. He makes the balagan. He tries to kill him. Now, that day, Esther was already queen. Hashem already set everybody up for the right positions. Esther was queen. Mordechai, when he hears about it, he doesn't hear from it from the king. He hears about it from Malach Gabriel. Rashi says over there, Malach Gabriel told him, Balach Halomot, the angel of dreams, tells him, it's a thing is happening, be careful, in a year from now, he starts to worse. All the Jews are asking, what are you doing? He says, wait for it. You're going to see the proclamation is going to come out. He's going crazy. Rosh HaSanhedrin. Imagine the Rosh HaSanhedrin starts to go crazy in front of you guys. You're going to think it's a Mishugah. He goes to Esther. He says, Esther, you got to save us. You got to go and beg. Esther says, Kasher, avadati, you're going to make me do a big avera with this guy, willingly, and I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not going to explain what she was saying to him. I think you guys could understand the point. And she says to him, okay, take everybody in Shushan, make a fast for 3 days. Women, children, everybody. Imagine babies had to fast for 3 days. 3 days, even babies. Everybody fasted. They fasted for 3 days. Esther goes in. Again, Malach Gabriel comes. Chapter 22 of Tehillim. I have in my pocket over here. The prayer that Esther said right before she walked in. This is the prayer that Esther said. Yonatan ben Uziel writes this prayer. This is the prayer. I'm not going to read it to you right now. But if you look in Yonatan ben Uziel, this is the prayer of Yonatan that he writes, that Esther said before she walked in. When I first saw this, I was enamored. Understand? No, it's not Tikkun 22. It's a specific prayer she said. Her words. She walks in. She asks for a party. Panja. They come for a party, Beit HaMishteh, Beit HaYayin. He comes, he drinks, then she says, come to me the next day.
Which day is that?
That was on Pesach, the second day of Passover. So here's the question the Gra asked, and well, how come she asked for a second day? What was she waiting to see, Abraham? You already saw from Shamayim, you already saw that everything was happening. You went in. He took the golden scepter out. You know when he took out the golden scepter.
Have a patient.
You know what that means. It's okay. You know what that means. The golden scepter. You know what that means. The golden scepter is another name for the kedusha of the Sefer Torah. She saw the power of the Ora Ganuz come out. The Ora Ganuz was coming out. Very big thing. That was Harat Mordechai himself. You have a book. Call it Sharvit HaZahav. I never saw a book like that yet. Sharvit HaZahav. Okay, check it. The golden scepter. He takes the golden, and she touches the head of the golden scepter, and he says to her, okay, what do you want? The party. Well, how come she asked for a second day? Esther said to herself, says the Gra. The Gra brings his answer. Maybe all this that is happening is because the Jews forced it. There's such a thing, by the way, when you ask Hashem something, and you force it, you're going to get it. But it's not the will of Hashem. By Bilam, exactly. There's such a thing over here. Hi. There's such a thing. When you force something, He will give it to you. But it's not going to come out good. Esther wasn't sure. Listen, she took the Jews out. Kids, babies, suckling babies. We're fasting for 3 days. How do I know that Hashem really wants it? Says the Megillah. Balayla, that same night. Nadidash Nadamelech. That same God, Kabutabi, that Haman said was asleep, that Kabuti, God was hiding himself. Suddenly, Nadidash Nadamelech. The Ha'ara was out. Esther saw, what's happening? Now Haman is starting to fall. She takes Mordechai. That same night it happened. It was between the parties. Haman falls. Mordechai, where's Levush Malchut? Esther said, now I see from Shammai that they agree with what I'm doing. On the second day, she said, hang Haman. She was looking for a sign from Shammai. You're not allowed to force things from Shammai. You have to wait till Shammai agrees with what you're doing. That's why they always say, Mashiach was supposed to come. But he didn't come. You know why? Because they forced it to come. There is a date that he has to come. And you have to wait for that date to come. That's the first question. Second question I'm going to ask you guys. After Mordechai wears everything, how come right after he takes off Achashverosh's clothes, gets off the horse, and what does he wear again? The sack. You see from Shammai, they agree with you. Why are you wearing sack?
Because not an halal man.
Not a halal man. Okay, that's a very general answer. I have a specific answer. How come he wears his sackcloth again? He says you have to pick up the holy sparks. It wasn't enough holy sparks.
It's like when Yaakov prayed, when Esau, so he's like, you don't know how it is, so he made it for prayer.
Okay, so you're touching on something, but you're not saying what you're supposed to say. You're touching on the right story. You're touching on the right story. Here's let me tell you what I think. All right? Sak is a numerical value of 400. Esav came against Yaakov with how many men? 400 men. Says the Ari, Mordechai is the Nitzotz of Yaakov who didn't bow down to Esav. And Esav is who? Haman. Says, you came to me with 400 men before?
They said,
now I'm not going to take off the sack, which represents what? The 400 men. Until you get hanged on the gallows. May Hashem be mezakeh otanu.
They said Mordechai was Gadaevski.
Yeah. They said, I thought you were Yehuda. He was from Binyamin. They said, may Hashem bless us. B'zchut HaChidushim that we said today. B'zchut HaBrachot, Rebachot, I hope you guys enjoyed all the Chidushim that was said today. Hashem bless us all with Brachat Tova Yishol Gedolot. May with a meaningful Purim.
Guys,
a meaningful Purim.
Amen.
Amen.